Welcome to Back 40 Autoworks. My name is Jeremy and my friends call me Styles. This is a little channel, just shot on low budget with a cell phone about me trying to mess around with old cars with very little time and very little money. And even less knowledge. A lot more of you have a lot more knowledge than me, but I learned by mistakes. As you will have seen if you've watched, and I thank you if you have. And if you have been watching, you'll know that the wagon is down and things have not been going very well the last couple of weeks. I can't seem to get out here and get time to do anything because family life and work and everything else, same as most of you. Most of my projects are just that, projects, and they don't take priority over regular things. However, the wagon was my daily driver, and she kept throwing power steering belts. So that's telling me something's wrong with pulleys or water pumps or something, and she was getting hot, so starting to overheat. Broke down on me a couple times in the past couple weeks, so we had to do something. Winter's here, had to get something to drive, so I bought an old winter beater, which thank God is still hanging on. Hopefully it does for a while, because now my wife's fan is broke. So yeah, that's just the way things have been going. And I've been dealing with rodent problems in my chicken coop. So yeah, what's not breaking down is getting eaten by animals. Life. Can't do much about it. So, unfortunately, there's nothing terribly exciting tonight other than ideas that are flying around in my head about fixing the wagon. I had thought about trying to source the parts to fix up the 307 that's in it, but then I've been thinking lately that maybe we'll just swap that out because it's a lot easier to find parts for a small block shed than it is for a small block Oldsmobile, especially on PEI. You know those fancy stainless steel license plate everybody likes so much? You know, ones that all the plastic go bad on, chip and rot and crack? Well, they're great for patching holes in chicken coops, rat holes. And if you knock the plastic off them, you can bend them and shape them. Put them around the bottom of walls and stuff. Fantastic. Right, girls? Girls are trying to settle in for the night. I've had a rat problem in my chicken coop, but anyway, tired of disturbing them. Okay, girls, good night. So, this is the old 305 out of the Buick 5.3 swap project. So, it did run. It ran pretty good, actually. It has just a little 2-barrel carburetor on it. That was leaking pretty bad and dumping fuel all over the intake. And I had wanted to do something different. The engine's from 1978, so, I mean, it's never been rebuilt to my knowledge. But it did run good, and that was, I just really wanted to try an LS swap, and that was the reason for putting it in the Buick. So, of course, the Buick is not done. It's supposed to be up here in this empty shop right now. There's a big mess to clean up from the van puking power steering fluid all over the place. And it's just plain a mess in general from doing the body job on the Buick, or on the Oldsmobile station wagon, the Jezzabell there. So that's got to get cleaned up. Anyway, thinking hard about rebuilding this 305. Again, it is just a 2-barrel, so I don't know. It might have had 100, 150, 110 horsepower, maybe. I'm not 100% sure on that. But again, it did run good, so it might be worth saving and putting in the wagon. And then I have another option. So right here, tucked away in a deep, dark corner of my shop, there's another 305. This one had fuel-injected heads. It's from an 88 to 8990 out of a half-ton, I believe. And I'm led to believe it was a high-output engine, which would have made it around, I'm thinking, 180 to 190 horsepower. And it's already been bored out. And it has, I don't know if you can see in there, those pistons are 60,000 oversize. So I don't know how much power it really had. I don't know what the compression ratio is. I was told it ran really well. So there is that option. I kind of would really like to try and use that. I've had it for probably 10 or 12 years now and done nothing with it. She's had a rebuild at one point, an orange spray can rebuild. Crank and everything was good, if I remember. Cylinder bores were pretty decent. So those two 305s are really just need a freshening up, re-ring and bearing, and put together. And I'm kind of interested in using the orange one. Being a later model one, it could have a little more power to begin with. 60 over, I don't know what it's got for power. It could be 220, 230. That'd be kind of cool if it was, but I don't know. The Olds 307 was supposed to be around 150 horsepower with 250 foot-pounds of torque. At least that's what's on Wikipedia. But, really? I don't know. She's just about 5,000 pounds, so even if that was, it wouldn't be great. It did get her around for 40 years, though. Can't complain about that. Definitely a reliable motor, up to lately. I do also have a couple of mid-90s Vortex 350s here, but they are pretty well wore out and have to be bored out and everything else that you can think of. New bearings and stuff like that. And I don't know if the cranks and stuff are any good. There's one here and another one in that grate tucked under my bench there. You can just barely see it. I think the heads and everything are on that one, I believe. Again, wore out, needs to be rebuilt. I got it from a friend of mine. I think he said the crank might be no good in it, but there is a good crank in the other one from what I understand. And I got a couple of sets of Vortex heads for the 350s. So, that's a possibility. And the fellow I know working on his own project threw out a bunch of junk that I thought was good. So I went to the metal bin and grabbed it, so it didn't end up at the dump. Because I'm a scrounger. I'm cheap. That's how I do things. Got a set of 88 to 91 fuel-injected heads. Swirl port heads, I'm told. I think that's what they are. They could definitely go in one of those 2305s. Spare flywheel. A distributor for a throttle body engine. And the throttle body intake. I'd really like to try and make that work on something, but not this. The valve covers down there. Some clamshells. And he was throwing out some 5.3 stuff. Coil packs. Alternator. Set of manifolds. And a starter, which may not be any good, but we'll find out. And the plenum. All that 5.3 stuff will end up down the candy van here shortly for storage. And dig it out someday if we need it. Hopefully it'll be good. If not, I'm not out nothing. That is where we're at with that. I don't really have the time to build an engine right now. Of course, I have to get the Buick in here, which I've said probably 11 million times, but that is trying to happen. We did finally get a few days of dry weather here. It had been raining for quite literally 3 weeks. Everybody says, oh, you're exaggerating, but no, it's been raining for 3 weeks. So the field is pretty soft. So going to try and get it out Friday up in here, and then it's in here locked down for the winter. Calling for 15 to 20 centimeters of snow tonight or tomorrow, so I don't know. That might be the end of it. She may not make it up here at all. But we're going to do our best to get her in here. Of course, they got to clean up the mess of the shop. And as I said, planning something for Jezzabell. I got to do something. I'm not sure what. At the age of it, to me, it makes more sense probably to just put a fresh engine in it as opposed to mess with what's there. And the other side of the coin is I don't know what's in it for a transmission. I think it's a turbo 350. I don't know if it's an old transmission or a Chev transmission or what. Apparently there's such a thing as a turbo 350 with a dual bell housing for BOP and Chev. I don't know. Again, more stuff to learn, figure out, find out, destroy, and hope for the best. Anyway, just a small video tonight. Thanks for watching. Apologize, there's not much more going on in this. Again, life is busy, and oh hey, Christmas is only a few weeks away. So that's also going to take my time away. But that's fine. That's how things go. So I appreciate everybody who keeps tuning in. Thank you very much. And to the new subscribers, the new viewers, I really appreciate that. And hopefully things will get a little more exciting around here soon. If we get the Buick in here in the next 4 or 5 days, we'll be ripping into that. Because we got to get her done. But she is half done. So not like we're starting from scratch. And she needs a lot less body work than the Wagon did. Anyway, take her easy. Until next time. Winter's here. Yuck. Can't wait for spring.